Pro-Built Systems, solving problems with power.
Alright, I'd like to welcome you guys back to Pro-Built Systems. What we have for you today is the M12 Cordless Multi-Tool. This is what you would call a vibrating saw. So, this guy is fresh out of the box. Let's see if we can get in here. I doubt there's anything interesting in these tool-only kits, because they're tool-only kits. So, don't get a lot of surprises. What do you get in the box? You get an ad for more tools, a manual for people who don't know how to use tools, and a cardboard spacer. Alright. Now, we're going to be comparing this with the rigid version that I have already. I can see some pluses and minuses already. Let's go through the accessories. This is just various pieces of sandpaper. It's not really going to matter that much. If you're unfamiliar with this type of saw, we'll go over the basic principles, and then you can see those principles in action in the testing phase. Alright, we're going to take a look at this Milwaukee vibrating saw. It's got some things I really like and some things I'm not that fond of. The control here, the speed control, is incremented on the dashes. So 8 to 10, you're like, oh, maybe it just goes from 8 to 10. No, if you look, there's a detent. So 8, 9, oops, sorry. 8, 9 is there, 10. So there's your speeds. That also accounts for the wonky blank part of the wheel there, because 1 is incremented in that. So I guess you got to figure that out just by the feel of the detents. I guess they really don't think anybody's going to take it off of 12 anyways. So couple problems is the hardware. I am accustomed to the rigid version of this tool. These are all the different pieces you need to use any sort of blade, sanding edge, or whatnot. On the rigid one, this is how it works. You pull up, whoops, let me find my camera here. Pull up, pull back, tip that, boom. Put the new one on. It's magnetic, which I absolutely love. So hold it to it so at an angle or whatnot, you can figure out your tooth right there. Tip it back up, boom, you're good to go. This one, we're like, okay, well, what do we need? Let's find the sander. So the sander is the one that does not need an adapter. So for that one, we just put the screw in. Now, for instance, we need the cutter. The cutter takes this adapter. How do you know it's this adapter? Because it is. Because the screw's not going to hold that on its own, and it doesn't have a countersink on it. You know what this adapter's for? Good for you. So, this is what we're doing to change tools. Change tools. Not cutting this out because I want you to realize how long it is to change tools. Up, we put the wrong tool on. Guy asked for the circular blade, not the straight blade. Okay, and we're taking this guy off. Oh, but this is a different brand. What does this take? Does it take this? Well, it fits. I don't know if that means it takes it. And then when you use that, you still don't have a countersink on it. Does that mean you have to also use this? I mean, it works. It's flat with the tool. So is that what we're supposed to do? Or are we supposed to just put the countersink on there? Like with the sander. Because there's already knobs on this. So let's try. Keep in mind, I have the instructions, but I also work in a makerspace training people. The instructions come in, they go in a file, or they go, like, this tool's sitting around. You're not going to be the guy who bought this tool in most situations. Not to mention the secondhand market. Consider the instructions online only. And are you online when you're at a site? I doubt it. So we're not doing this via the instructions. We're doing this via how a semi-intelligent person would figure it out. Because I would think you would just go straight nubs with the countersink. This is how I would do it. But what is this guy for then? Not to mention, there's nowhere to stow this on the tool. Unless I missed something in the battery slot. Nope. Yeah. Compared to the rigid toolless version, I gotta give it the rigid, and they're about the same price, except this one comes with a battery. This one's $120 with a battery and charger. This is $109 a la carte. That's all you get. So, I don't know. I do like, however, the feel of this one is better, and the trigger gets rid of this. The only addition, the rigid tool has a forward and a reverse, because this can use different tools. This has there's a picture up here, like a bolt driver, a zip cutter. I have no idea what that is. A sander, jigsaw. I have the jigsaw. You know, it's a decent jigsaw. So my qualms are thus. How rigid is this? I'll keep this. If you guys want me to take it apart, put it in the comments. We'll do a separate video of completely taking this guy apart. But that's an overview there. We're going to go over to cutting, and then we're going to come back here. All right, welcome to the test bench. This is a piece of rough sawn oak that I've sawn myself. It has been dried in my kiln. So we're going to see on this edge how the plunge cut works against oak. I'm not even going to deal with, we're not doing cardboard and whatever little sissy stuff. I know it'll cut plywood because plywood, it'll just work its way right through the grains. So let's see if it can cut stuff that's hard. Keep in mind, there are blades made for these that are metal cutting blades. There's also tile cutting blades. So we're just going to see what we're going to pretend that this is your door trim. This is the floor. And you need to cut in. I am impressed. It can plunge cut oak pretty easily. We'll give it some easier tasks just for the onlookers. Alright, I lied, and by easier I meant maple. I want to see what the plunge cut looks like with maple. Well, I'm sold. I mean, let's see how much battery we've used. Where's a bar of battery? I think that if you're gonna use these tools, you gotta invest in the biggest batteries you can. This was a tool only, so you get to choose the battery you want. You buy your own battery charger, or whatever. This is all that small stuff, but for normal household use, this thing will kick any pine you can throw at it. Because I went straight for the maple. Okay, and even though I don't use the sanding function of it, we're going to go ahead and use the sanding function. I'm going to set up an area with 3 different levels of necessity to sand. I'm going to use the grinder with a 60 grit on one spot to get it pretty close, and then we'll get a different tool to get another section. Okay, that'll be section 1. Okay. Section 2. Okay, we're going to do 3 different sections prepared differently. Start off here with some pretty I'm going to do the right half of each one so we have the previous comparison. Okay. But keeping in the theme of using this to cut up, if you're painting and you're cutting up some door trim and some baseboards, this is going to be more than adequate for that. So you're not going to start rough sawn. You're going to start with a primed coat. So with a primed coat, you could easily use this guy as a one-stop shop for cutting and sanding. It's not bad. What do we got for battery? This doesn't use up nearly as much of the battery as the cutting used. So we'll do this middle part to fruition just so you guys can see here. Okay. Clean that up. You can see this rough on stuff is not really taken to it, but the area we did is here. I kind of forgot that I was just doing here and did one more pass there, but so we're going to put some oil here and see how it looks. Also not wasting a paintbrush on this thing because this is not finished work. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dab in some linseed oil just so you can see the differences. It's also nice to note where the paper catches and doesn't catch. We're not getting any catches in this area that we did. Whereas if we go over here, I could start feeling the paper tear. So, not a terrible sander. Surface area, I mean, if you're doing your whole house with this thing, it's going to take you an eon. But if you're just touching some stuff up, it's not bad. It's not a bad add-on for what is already a decent tool. Alright, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and here's your taste of the next tool we're looking at. If you got any other recommendations, put them in the comments. Otherwise, something else you want to see, some questions that went unanswered, let me know.